guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be chatting about some books that I bought from hive.co.uk. This video is being made because of the last weekend readathon that's coming up at the end of June, which is run by Hannah at Handpicked Blog. And so at the end of the last weekend of every single month, she runs a 24-hour readathon in 2 days. On the Saturday and Sunday between 9 AM and 9 PM BST time, Hannah runs Twitter sprints and kind of tells us facts about the book she's reading and just interesting little nuggets of information. And it's really fun to participate in, so I recommend going down to her channel and checking her out. She's really cool. So the theme for the readathon this time is to read a book that you've bought at an independent bookstore. So because of that, in Hannah's video as well, she talks about hive.co.uk, which is an English-based company who basically when you buy books from their company, they're like a bookseller online. I'm not actually sure what percentage goes to independent bookshops, but some of the profits go towards an independent bookshop of your choice. So I had a bit of a mare with it today actually, but yesterday I tried to buy some books with some birthday money that I had and it didn't accept the payment, and it kind of turned into this big whole chaotic thing where I tried lots of times and failed lots of times to buy the books from there, and in the end I had to ring up customer service and he took my card payment over the phone, and because of that, that meant that I couldn't choose the bookstore that I wanted them to donate money to or them to support through me buying the books. So it was an independent bookshop and it is a bookshop that's close to me, but it's not it wouldn't have been my chosen bookshop, which is kind of sad. But anyway, the idea and the premise is great and I think it is a nice alternative to Amazon. So thank you to Hannah for introducing me to that. I really appreciate it. I don't know if anything like that exists in other places around the world, so if you know of something for wherever you are, if you're not in the UK, then please do link it in the comment section below for other people to find as well. That would be really helpful. I think there is a USA website. I think it creates a map of all the independent bookshops to where you are. But it's not a bookshop, it's not a bookstore itself, but it leads you to their different websites. So I'm going to link that down below that I found, but there might be better ones for the USA, I'm not sure. Do let everyone know if you know better than me. So like I say, I bought some books from Hive today. I ended up buying 8, which was really nice, using some birthday money that I had. But as I don't know if they're going to arrive, I don't think I'm going to start another full-on book for this readathon, because I'm already reading so many other things at the moment and trying to catch up a little bit on my plans for June. So what I'm going to do is I went on my shelf to see if I could remember any books that I'd bought from independent bookshops. And so the only ones that I could really find were a couple of books that I bought from an independent bookstore in Canada. And one of the books I bought from there was Ideas and Opinions by Albert Einstein. This book is a collection of writings. So one about religion and science, which actually Science Mama, if you're watching, that's reminded me of what you're reading about at the moment. So yeah, that might be an interesting one for me to read and then watch your wrap up. Yeah, and so what I'm thinking I might do instead of reading a full book is take this book and on the hour, every hour during the readathon, is read one of the writings from this book. So I'm not reading constantly for the 24 hours, kind of cheating, but I think it will be nice to kind of delve into these writings throughout those 2 days. And then in between that, I will be reading books that I need to read for June that aren't bought from independent bookshops. But I have made a moral not to buy from Amazon anymore. I will be still buying from Waterstones because I do want to support them, but I'm going to try and buy from my local bookshop way more. Okay, so onto the books that I bought from Hive. So I bought 5 non-fiction books and 3 fiction books. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tell you about them in publication order. So I'm going to do non-fiction first and then fiction after. Okay, so first up is a book that I've been wanting to read for ages, and it is The Girl with 7 Names, Escape from North Korea, which is written by Hyeonseo, and it is her story of how she escaped North Korea and how she got her family out of North Korea. I watched this TED talk that she did back in 2013, so I think the book came out in 2015, so I don't know if the writing process had started when she did this first TED Talk or not, or if the book is off the back of that talk. But I'll link that one down below, and she kind of speaks about realising that North Korea was not the place she was taught it to be when she was about 7, and that's a really interesting sad video to watch. And then there was another TED Talk that I watched of hers, which was a couple of years later, where she was talking about the book as well, and then she goes into more detail, a little bit more detail, about the things that she learnt in North Korea and the lies she was told in North Korea. And I just think this book is going to be really, really eye-opening and, again, harrowing to read. So I link both of those videos down and you can take a look at them if you want to. But I found them very interesting to watch, and I'm eager to pick up this book now because I feel it's going to be a very eye-opening read. Okay, so the second book that I picked up is We Crossed a Bridge and It Trembled, Voices from Syria. So this was released in 2017 and it was written by Wendy Pearlman. So Wendy Pearlman is a professor at Northwestern University, and one of her research interests is comparative politics in the Middle East. So she herself is not Syrian, but I believe she collected these kind of interviews and pieces of writing and collection of writing from Syrian people who have lived through the war and their experiences of that, etc. All those pieces of writing are from interviews that were kind of given over 4 years throughout Europe and the Middle East. I really think this is an important book for me to read because I'm completely ignorant to all of this stuff. And to hear pieces of writing directly from the people who have been affected by war is going to be very important. If you were interested to hear her speak about her research, I did find a lecture that she did on YouTube, and the title of the lecture was Understanding Syria Through Refugee Stories. So I'll link that down below, so if you wanted to check it out, you can hear her speak about it, which I find it really great that we can see all these lectures online. Okay, so number 3 is The Feather Thief, which was released in April 2018, and actually, just a weird thing when I was looking up when they were published, the next book was released on the exact same day as this one, so they came out on the same day, and just by chance I bought them on the same day too. The Feather Thief is written by Kirk W. Johnson, and this book comes highly, highly recommended by the Book Castle, Alice at the Book Castle. I don't know if you haven't seen her videos, they're awesome, so I'll link her channel down below as well. She reads so much stuff, and such a huge range of books. I'm always in awe of everything that she reads. But she really raves about this book, and that's why I bought it in the first place. And this book is essentially about a young guy who went to a branch of the British Museum that wasn't in London, it was elsewhere, and he stole basically a whole bunch of bird skins and I don't know why I'm laughing, this is horrible, and then like plucked them and sold them illegally. I started watching an interview with the author, which was given by Idaho Public Television or something. I'll link it down in the description. And I only watched the beginning of it because I didn't want too much to be given away. But he said that he was out fishing one day with his mate, and his friend he was fishing with told him about the story of this guy nicking these feathers and selling them on, basically. And he was like, whoa, that's like a really weird thing to happen. And so he started doing some digging into the story, and he explains this way better, so definitely go and watch the interview I'm talking about. So he ended up going to this place where people were doing Victorian salmon fly tying or something. And so while he was there, he went over to somebody who was working on doing whatever he was doing. I don't really understand the terminology, so I don't really know what I'm talking about, to be honest. Something to do with the salmon fishing, he was doing something. And the author asked him about the story, and he was like, oh, well, I wouldn't go into that if I were you. I think you just, leave it alone, basically. And then was like, we're a very tight-knit community, and I wouldn't go there if I was you. And Johnson, the author, took it as kind of like a threat, and was like, well, now I definitely want to delve into what happened. This sounds really dodgy and like all the rest of it. And so he wrote a book about it. He did 5 years research and he ended up writing the book. I'll put the video of his interview in the description if you want to go and watch it and see if you fancy reading about the feather thief. Okay, so the book that was released on the same day as that was The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, which is by Stephen Brucetti. So he's an American guy who is currently living in Edinburgh. He works at University of Edinburgh. And he just looks like the absolute dinosaur expert when I like looked up his work. He's had like 9 works out already, and I think he's a couple of months older than me. He's 36. And I was thinking, wow, this guy is so accomplished. What have I achieved in the same amount of time on Earth? Not very much. Anyway, but yeah, I think this book will be super interesting. Like, obviously I know enough about the dinosaurs, like the same amount as regular people know about dinosaurs. I don't know any details about the dinosaurs really. I've been to some big dinosaur museums and they were pretty cool, but other than that my knowledge is minimum. That's kind of a lie actually. I did read Dark Matter and the Dinosaurs, which I don't know if I can recommend. That might be a book for another time. Yeah, interesting concept. Not very well executed book from what I can remember. Yeah, so like I say, this guy is a major expert. He's studied dinosaurs his whole life. He was into it from when he was a child, and I hope that this teaches me a lot about them. Okay, so the final non-fiction book that I purchased from Hive was The Case for Climate Capitalism by Tom Rand. Now, Tom Rand is a Canadian author, and from looking at the reviews and doing a bit of like background reading about this book, it's written for a Canadian audience, which I didn't think I realised. And being someone from the UK, it might not be that relevant, but on the other hand, it could be relevant, I don't know. So I'm going to give it a go anyway. Yeah, so Tom Rand has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and then he went on to do a philosophy of science master's, and then he also did a master's and PhD in philosophy. His bio also said that he's a green tech venture capitalist, and also is on the board for Environmental Defence Canada as well. So his bio says he's a climate change expert. So I am interested to read this. I have a very negative vibe towards capitalism, but this is like an ignorant, negative view of capitalism. Like, I don't like the way the world is run. So because I live in a capitalist country, that equals I don't like capitalism in my head, even though that's a completely uneducated way to think about it. But I really don't know very much about politics, and that's something that I'm really trying to understand a lot more of now. So I'll be interested in this book because I worry with the environment, especially now coronavirus is happening, and you know, it's kind of gone out the window a little bit this year. The push for climate change, not the push for climate change, we don't need any more of that, but the push to help with the environment has kind of gone out the window because of the coronavirus. And now people are worried about money. You know, it's something that really worries me a lot. So I'm gonna read this book and I'm gonna see his point of view and see if we can unite kind of green tech and green energy with capitalism and kind of push for things to get moving faster. That's what I'm hoping from the book. I don't know if that is what it's going to give me. If you read it, let me know. If you have other suggestions for other types of books that you think, from what I've just said, that I would benefit from reading, do let me know as well, because it's an area that I'm super interested in, and also an area that I really want to help in as well in the future. So yes, let me know. Okay, so on to the fiction books that I bought. The first book I bought was The Eve of Man, and I can't for the life of me remember who the booktuber was that talked about this book. But this book is about, it's by Giovanna Fletcher and Tom Fletcher, who, I mean, I knew Tom Fletcher's name, but I didn't really know who he was. And then when I Googled him, he's one of the members of McFly, so I felt stupid Googling him. And Giovanna Fletcher is an author, an actress, a vlogger, a blogger, etc. According to her bio. So this book, The Eve of Man, imagines a world where there has been no girls born for the last 50 years. So, and then suddenly a girl is born and she's named Eve. And that's all I want to say about it, because again, I don't want to read something that's wrong or read a spoiler. but I think that concept sounds super interesting. So I'm looking forward to reading it. It's got good reviews on Goodreads. The other book I picked up was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and this book I purely picked up because it's a book about books, and I read The Starless Sea and I love The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I've just finished reading The Binding and I enjoyed The Binding a lot, by Bridget Collins, so I thought I'd just line up my next book about books, to be quite honest. And I did look up about Margaret Rogerson, but I couldn't find too much information. It seems she's written about 2 books, and she's a young adult author and she's American. And I couldn't really find out too much information about her other than that. So just finally onto the last book that I bought. I bought The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abi Daré, and this story is about a young girl of about 14 who lives in Nigeria. Her mother advises her to go and try and get herself an education, so that she has a louding voice and can kind of carve her own path in life without people manipulating it for her. So Abby, she originally lived in Nigeria as well. She grew up in Nigeria, in Lagos, which is where the story is set as well, but she spent the last 18 years living in the UK. And she's super clever. She's a super clever lady. So she studied law at university and she's got 2 masters as well. So she's got an MSc in international project management, and she's also got an MA in creative writing. Yeah, so she just seems like a super clever lady. And I did find a little video of her reading an excerpt from the book that's on Waterstone's YouTube channel. So I'll link that down below if you wanted to check that out. Yeah, so that's everything. That's everything I bought from Hive. I'll be doing another book haul pretty soon in the future, with some books that I bought with the rest of my birthday money that my friends and family kindly gave to me, which is really exciting because I haven't bought new books for ages, so I'm really hyped about it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope everyone's doing well, and I will speak to you all down in the comments. Okay, take care guys, bye.